In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a couple of things. The first one is I'm going to show you how to replace the handle here. This can be done with the glove box remaining in the car. I've just removed it for simplicity to show you how everything gets put together. And then for the second part of the video, I'm going to show you how to completely disassemble the entire glove box itself. This information is going to be exactly the same for a 981, 991 or the 718 because it's all exactly the same glove box. The way this thing is put together, there is an outer part here which has the covering on it. The handle itself is screwed and clipped into this outer cover, and then that is pressed onto the shell here, which has got all the felt and everything on the inside. And I have not been able to separate this bit from the inner side. It seems as though it's clipped in loads and loads of different places. It's so firmly held on there. I'm just terrified of breaking it. I've tried pretty hard to get it off, but to get access to the screws that hold onto the handle, you can just drill in from the inside. I'll give you the exact dimensions of where these are. The screws themselves are a T20 with an 8mm wide head, so I've drilled 10mm holes, and then that just pops out straight away. And then once you do that, then you can push that to the other side, and then the handle will pop out. So I'll just show you how to do that. When you remove these, don't pull them out straight away. What you want to do is just pull them out and just screw them in maybe a turn or so, because what we're going to do is this is still clipped in and I need to push this out the other side. So once it gets all the way out and I can feel it, turn it back in, and then I'm just going to push in hard and it'll unclip it out the other side, and then I can pull those out. I'm just going to use a magnetic tool to pull those out, and then that comes out there. And the way this works, you can see, I mean, the screws go into these spots here, and whilst those there go down in those holes, there is a clip up the top there. So the thing would stay in place even without the screws there. So that's why I'm leaving the screws in and pushing it down to unclip it out of that one there. So it's predominantly that one there that I'm pushing it out of. And then once that clip has come out, then this whole thing will just rotate out. Prior to installing the new latch, you'll need to change over the lock barrel. You'll need the key for that. On the back of the key, there's that little latch there. Just pull that down, remove the key. And then what we're going to do is put it into there. We're going to open it up so it looks like that, and you can see this little silver, that's the little clip thing that's sitting on the inside and holding it in place. But because if I pull it like that or turn it 90 degrees, it's going to pull straight out. If I turn it so it's only about 1/8 of a turn, the thing is locked in place. And now if I then press down on this one here and pull out at the same time, it takes a little bit of force and that'll just pop straight out. I would suggest leaving the key in there, because when you pull these out, I'm not sure if you can see that, but the little plungers, which are the things that allow with the key the thing to rotate and unlock the barrel, they will pop out, or they've sort of loosened. There's a spring inside for each of those, so just be a little bit careful. I would just leave the key in there like that, and then for the new one, all you need to do is just put it in there and then just push it into place, and that just clips straight into that clip at the back. And then you can have a bit of a play with it, check that it actually turns. You can see there's a little latch in there, so in that configuration there I can open it, but if I rotate it like that, that little knob goes around that position and I can't turn it, so that's the thing that's locking it. Happy days. And then to install this, all you're going to do is just put it in there like that, and then you need to push it into that clip. So you're just going to push it hard, it'll clip into place, and then you can go and replace those two screws on the other side. Remembering those two screws, because they're just going into brass, but the plastic that it's being held onto, they're not always going to be particularly strong, so it does need to be held in tight. The screws are there just to, I guess, make sure it doesn't fall out, but that clip is keeping it in place. So just gently tight is all you need. In order to drill in the most accurate position possible, so the screws come out and you just put a plug in there later on. The way I've done this after mucking around, obviously I sort of buggered this up a little bit because I didn't know exactly the right position, but I'll give you some really accurate dimensions here. Just use a ruler from either side there or there. You get a really accurate measurement. The problem is on this side here, this is flat, but then it sort of dips down into this corner in here. So I just get a ruler like that and just put it on the flat bit there and put it flat, and then move it down this way and then get a measurement there. So the dimensions are on this left-hand side here, 148 millimeters and 29.5 millimeters. And on this side, 150 millimeters and 41.5 millimeters. And when you're doing this, I wouldn't suggest doing a 10 millimeter hole straight away. I would start off with a small one so you get a really accurate position, maybe a 3 millimeter hole, and then run it in with a 10 millimeter hole from there. And then you should see the screw appear directly underneath it, and you should be able to pop that out really easily. You'll have a nice 10 mil hole that you can plug later on. One of the problems that you have when you want to drill the holes in here is that with the glove box open as far as it can go, it's kind of like about that, and the drink holder here gets in the way, and it's a bit hard to get a drill in here, so we'll need to remove the drink holder. I'll just pull that out. Obviously that's not going to do that in the car, but to remove the drink holder, you just want to get underneath here and just remove the little trim piece on the outside. That just has a couple of clips that go into here. And then obviously you'll have to get inside the car and sort of look up underneath here, and the glove box will be open, but you want to open that up, allow both of those to come out, and then I'll flip it over just to make it a little bit easier. And what we're going to do is stick a screwdriver. There are a number of holes in here, but it's these little round ones there. So what you're going to do is stick a screwdriver in there. There's a spring-loaded little latch in there that when you push down, you're going to grab hold of this, give it a bit of a wiggle, and one at a time, and they'll just pop straight out. So what you're doing here when you are pressing that down, it's these little things here that you're pressing down. So you're pushing on that, and it's just releasing it from that little clip in there. So there's obviously one on each side. If you have removed the glove box, the screws that you remove come from these three positions here. These are also right next to it. It's easy to mistake those, and they're the ones that hold on to these little spring-loaded latches. If you accidentally do undo one of these things, no problem, you're just going to screw it back on. But what's really important is when you put this back in, this little tab at the end here, there's these little things on the outside. It must go in between that there, so it goes down. Very easy to put these back on again where they're a little bit off to the side, and this thing won't actually go down far enough, and it makes it really difficult to allow that thing to depress far enough to get the cup holder on later on. So just a word of warning, just be careful with that. But if you are just removing this to get access so you can drill those holes, that shouldn't be a problem. Disassembly of the glove box is relatively simple. Once you get it out, I won't put instructions of how to remove it here. I'll just put a link to a video that I've made previously of how to remove the glove compartment from the car. But once you get it out, you just need to disconnect that little electrical connector there. That's just for the micro switch that tells the system when it's open or closed, but all of this can remain in place. That's where the connection would be at the back of the glove box. To remove this thing here, there's just a little pin just there. Go on the inside and just pop that out with a screwdriver. That just pops straight out, and then that will rotate out like that, and you just rotate out through. It's probably easiest to open up the glove compartment to get that thing out, and then that just rotates around, and that just pops straight out of that little hole there. Then we need to remove this thing here, which is just the bump stop for that. Just grab a pair of pliers. On the inside of this, you'll see a big round thing on the inside of the glove compartment. It's got a hex inside it, but I found that that just rounds out when you try and turn this. So I find you're better off just getting a pair of pliers, then just get in there like that, rotate it anti-clockwise, and then it'll just push to the inside. And that's what that looks like. Right. And then the last thing we want to do for the hinges, there's a screw there and a screw there. They just hold in a pin which runs from the outside there and from here. So when you turn these screws, that's just with a Phillips head screwdriver, it'll probably want to rotate the pin on the outside. So just use a pair of pliers and then just hold that on the outside so you can remove that screw. And then once you do that, then we're just going to push the pin from the inside, and it'll just pop straight out, and the two will just separate completely. I'll just use something to push that out from both sides. Then once that's out, the two sides will just separate completely. And then obviously the putting it back together is just the reverse of that.